Hello, all. Welcome to the Hockey on Tap podcast, episode 119, Whole of a Career. I'm your host, Bill Dean. I'm, of course, here with my only co-host, Shorts Guy. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We're brought to you by Primetime Radio, courtesy of Mr. Wu, who is actually behind the glass today. Maybe he'll chat. We got a lot of stuff going on today, but please leave us a 5-star review if you'd be so kind. Shorts Guy, it is just you today. That's because we have terrible, terrible news. Schwim and Steven did not make it back from Arizona. Schwim is going to miss his wedding. Yep. Those two just couldn't hack it. Me and you, pretty much the only,
survivors.
Only guys that survived, yeah. I mean, we had 8 guys and only 2 came back. So
dominoes falling, riot in the streets.
Oh, man. Just
that's
fantastic.
the greatest song of all time. If there's any way that we can use that song on this podcast, we need to.
Yes, as the intro would be fantastic.
Out of time.
Yeah. But we're back. That podcast that we had, I know, was short-lived at the Mullet Arena in Phoenix, Arizona, the home of the Arizona State University Spartans. It was fantastic. The game was awesome. We watched
Sun Devils or another one.
The Sun Devils.
Anyway.
No, it was Sun Devils. Yeah, it wasn't Spartans. The Sun Devils. Sorry.
I thought so. Jeez.
Yeah, you're right. Steven has probably the biggest upset loss in fantasy with Clayton Keller getting a hat trick in person against his goaltender Thompson, which was even funnier.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
that was the best.
It was great. It was fantastic. And we hope everybody enjoyed the pod. We know we were maybe a little inebriated. Some people were having fun.
Little.
But we enjoy. First of all, and I'll tweet out the photo from Sam. The contraption that Sam got was awesome. It worked beautifully. We had the Wi-Fi just from the phone set up, and we were able to stream perfect. And we had a great cameraman, Tommy. Thank you. Shout out to Tommy for holding the camera. And, he was a little off kilter a little bit, but we really appreciate him holding it up. And it was awesome. And we tried to bring the podcast stuff. Go ahead.
I was going to say that is everything that I hoped that would be when I made that suggestion that we should podcast from outside the.
It was great.
It was everything that I was hoping. It would be short. We would have Mullet Arena in the background, and we would probably be drunk, which we were. So we lived up to that. That was probably one of the best times I think I've had at a hockey game in a very long time.
It was very good. What the best was is Shorts Guy goes balls to the wall and is full Arizona Coyotes, and he is trolling every single Vegas Golden Knight fan in that arena. And I saw multiple people just yelling back at him or like making snide comments. And I'm like, you idiots are debating or arguing with a Devils fan. It's not even a Coyotes fan. It's a Devils fan. That's just ripping into people. Fantastic.
That was
a fantastic night.
That was my goal when we got there. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to go hard for the Arizona Coyotes. We're here. We're only here once.
And you did.
And I had my Devils hat on, and everyone's looking at me like, I still think so aside from, what I said to Thompson, I still think the best thing that I came up with just off the cuff was Las Vegas is a waste of water. And all of the Arizona locals loved that. Like the guys in the drums next to me heard that, and as soon as I was done with that, they were like turning to me, giving me high fives and fist pounds.
Yep.
The Las Vegas is a waste of water, I think, was the best thing I came up with all night long.
You had the drum guys going. You had the beekeeper, whoever that was. That guy was just as crazy as you were. And then, it was fantastic. Steve at the end of the night has a bullhorn that he just took. Someone just gave him a bullhorn.
No, someone gave it to him. Someone tried to give it to me, and I was like, give it to him.
He's just walking around screaming at everybody. Just fantastic. But we had a great time. Schwim is, wedding coming up. We are so looking forward to it, and congrats to him and Cynthia. And we'll have something. Depends on what happens this week, but we might have a podcast Monday, might not. But there's so much news for today. Just wanted to get that in. And Sam, once again, awesome setup. Awesome. Sam was so excited that this stuff was able to work, and that it came in so clearly.
These are the opportunities we get to test out and push the limits, which is what Sam has always been about. And a huge credit to Sam for getting us everything we needed to get. A huge credit to to all of us too for willing to do this. and
Yeah.
taking 10 minutes out of our night and then continuing to bring the party. So credit to
Next time
all
we'll have to do it when
credit
we're
goes
when
all
we're a
around.
little when we can go a little longer and really, what Sam's doing obviously at the bar and for the Devils is fantastic. American whiskey and it's just continuing. Sam is amazing. Good job, Sam.
Hey, listen,
One
it's
last
not
one
our
last thing.
yeah.
Go ahead. No, I
I
was
was
gonna
gonna
say
say
with me trying to bring in the equipment into the arena, and the security guys like, what is this? Like they thought I was, bringing in like some just I don't even know what they wanted to think that I was trying to bring
the
in,
B
but
word you can't say.
yeah, but it was fantastic.
Um,
Um,
it's not. Listen, it's not our fault. We found a bar
it
that
is
had
not.
happy hour from 11 until 5.
Yeah,
$6 32-ounce pitchers. That's not our fault.
yeah, that was awesome,
We just took advantage of what we found and just
and they
went
had good
with it.
beers. They
Oh
had
my
really good
gosh, yeah.
beers too.
I got
Yeah,
the fateful IPA.
yeah,
Um,
and I had
that was that
whatever
was
that
really good.
sour was from the first bar we went to, and I'm trying to remember. Um, oh man, what the not bar, the first brewery we went to, but we had that sour that they had there too, and that was really good.
Oh,
Actually, we
that
didn't even do
was.
our beers.
Oh yeah, beers. You want to go? Or you want me to go?
Uh, yeah, Parish Brewing. I'm going full non-vegan in honor of Steve and his not coming back. Mango mochi. It's a Berliner style ale with mango, vanilla, milk, sugar, and toasted rice, and it's delicious.
So I am going a little bit heavy tonight because someone's got to bring the heat with this. I'm going with this year's edition of Mudhen's Yellow Flashing Lights. What's cool at Mudhen is they update their artwork every single year. So this is this year's Yellow Flashing Lights artwork. It's
I
named
like it.
for the winter season when it's nothing but flashing yellow lights down the shore. And I'm gonna have a real big collection of Mudhen cans at some point.
I
I
like
already
it.
got I already got a bunch. So once the basement's done, uh, they'll be down there. But
It's
yeah,
gonna look
Yellow
great,
Flashing
guys.
Light. It's a stout. Like look at this. Like look at this. This
That
is
is thick. What's the
yeah.
alcohol percentage? It's not like that one that Shrim almost died on, was it?
No. This is
From
only
two
eight
weeks ago.
percent. It's only 8%, but they had a bourbon barrel
Ooh.
version when I was down there in December, and just because I have been there so often, and I know some of the guys, they gave me a tasting when they were not supposed to, and man, that thing had heat. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I wouldn't have been able to do a whole 12 ouncer of that, but that thing had some heat. So I do like the. I'm not a big stout guy, but I do like Yellow Flashing Lights. It's a good way to end the night when you're down there and then stumble
Yeah.
back home. Which I've done multiple times from Mudhen.
I am trying to Ray Leo, send some messages. He said he was available if we needed. That was the last minute, but yeah. Um, all right,
Ray
so
Leo,
let's get
Ray,
it with
Ray
Untapped.
Leo, Ray Leo has to come out to our 500,000 party in
Ooh, I
uh
like it.
in February. So Ray Leo,
Yeah,
come out to the 500,000 party. Anyway, sorry, cut you off. Go, guy.
yeah. All right, so let's get to what's on tap for today's episode. Here's our weekly snapshot. Like today, just so much hockey
hmm
news came down the pike, and the
Yeah.
most recent, and we'll go the happy before the sad, is Bo Horvat. Not really happy. Bo Horvat's probably not happy. Going to the
Would you be?
Islanders for Anthony Beauvillier, Mr. Oblivious, for Atu Ratu, and for a first round pick, conditional to top 12, which I don't know. To me, I feel like Vancouver didn't get enough. Like
So wait,
they
explain the conditional part to me because I didn't get a
so
chance to read all into it.
yeah, so they have a 2023 first round pick, and
Okay.
if the Islanders tank and go to top 12 pick and they get the top 12 pick, it
Yep.
stays with Islanders, and then I guess they get the 2024. I didn't read that exactly, but it would go to that pick would then delay a year. So
Where
yeah,
are
I
we
really
now?
think that Vancouver did not get enough for. I know he's not signed for next year. I know he's a pure rental, but you're getting him earlier than you would normally get at the trade deadline.
hmm
And I would have figured you'd get two firsts or the equivalent of two firsts. And Bavilier is a good player. I don't feel like he's a first round pick player. And I also don't think that Atu Ratu, he was a second round pick last year. his
Mhm.
pedigree, he's done pretty well, but I still think you go for those 2 first-round picks. And the fact that you might not get one in 2023 when it's a loaded draft, to me, was not good enough of a return.
I mean, so if you're looking league standings right now, the Islanders are in
They're
19th.
they're sixth overall in the Eastern Conference,
19th overall.
and 2 points. Yeah, 19th overall, but they're 2 points
So they're outside
behind
of that.
the
They're outside
Penguins.
of that 12. So Bo Horvath was going to be, because we were talking about this last night on the Let's Go Devils podcast, was not a player that I was personally interested in for the Devils, only
Really?
because
Why not?
uh because of his UFA status at the end of the
Yeah.
season. Now I'll preface this by saying, if there was the possibility or the, I want to say, guarantee of him re-signing here, I would have been okay, but that's, take it. But if there was no guarantee in him signing, I was not wanting for the Devils to give up good young pieces for a pure rental. That's right
Yeah.
now that's all he is. To me, I think that that's bad business. I think that this is when I saw this, I was a little bit surprised at what Lou did, because Lou was so inactive over the summer, and then to make this trade now with a player that's purely a rental, unless Lou can woo him in and keep him on the island, which I don't know if he's going to
Yeah.
do.
I don't
That's
think
a
he can.
tough one. I don't know. Just the whole idea of him being a UFA and a rental is just, that to me was like a no. That was a hard no for me. Unless, like I said, there was some kind of a trade and sign, or talks with an agent that said, okay, well, we will re-sign there. I just
Yeah.
was not. He's a fantastic player. He would be great on the Devils, but not for his status as a UFA. I was just not interested in that, in giving up pieces for a guy that we would potentially lose. But Lou is it. I guess what this is showing is Lou is really kind of pushing to make up those points
Playoffs. Yeah.
and to sneak into the playoffs, because really all you got to do is sneak in. I mean, what was it? The Blues snuck in the year that they won, and they wound up
Yeah.
winning it all. So who the hell knows? All you have to do is get in. But I'm curious if this is Lou trying to make up for his inactivity over the summer, and then seeing what has
Possibly.
transpired because of that.
Yeah.
Having to make it. They were. I was listening to the NHL Network, not NHL Network, but NHL on Sirius the other day, and talking about how, like, Lou was going to have to do something in order just to keep the Islanders going, and just to get into the playoffs. So maybe he was getting pressure from the owner, maybe he was feeling pressure for somewhere else, but I don't know. It just seems like, I don't know. It kind of seems like an odd deal for Lou.
Yeah. So, 2 things quickly on the Devils, because
Mm-hmm.
I am under the. This is my thought and what I think they should do, and
Mm-hmm.
this is just me spitballing, but I do think they need to make a big move, whether that's a defenseman or was a guy like Bo Horvat or it's Timo Meyer. I think that the Devils need to go big game hunting, just because you add one more piece to that loaded top 6, or
Mm-hmm.
on defense the opposite way, and it shows your team that we're no longer, you know, not a playoff contender. We are absolutely in this. We're in this to go for it, and and that whole thing. I'm
Well,
happy they didn't go after Bo Horvat, because I think that everyone was worried. Oh, hey, it's a third center. We don't, you have top 2 in Heischer and Hughes.
mm-hmm.
You could stick him on the wing and have him play with Hughes and have a 30 goal score on his wing, which I'm sure he could really use. And
Yeah.
that
Oh
was
yeah.
just something in that I thought would be good.
But has
For the
Horvath ever
Islanders,
played on the? But has he ever played on the wing before?
he has played on the wing. He played on the line
Okay.
with Pedersen for a little while. He was a winger there. I'm assuming that he would rather play center, because he in
Mm-hmm.
turn gets to build up his resume a little more for free agency. Now,
Yeah,
for the
yeah, yeah.
Islanders, they did need a scorer,
Oh
but
yeah, because they have been like anemic in scoring.
yeah, but they have Barzal, who's a center, and you would figure you'd want to put someone with Barzal. And if I'm Horvat, I still want to play center, and that means you're not playing with the best players, unless he's okay with just going to the wing and playing it out the season.
You know,
Um,
you're talking that he would be best served, potentially on the wing for the Devils, but then going to the Islanders might want to play as a center. I mean, you know, what's
Well, it goes both almost.
it yeah, it does go both. Barzal was he really hasn't scored much. He's gotten assists
No.
this season, but his scoring is way down this season. So I don't know what's up with him. He's just
Um,
having a rough season, but yeah, the Islanders scoring has been really anemic, and they've needed to make a change. And Lou goes out and makes this change this afternoon. Brings this makes this trade happen. So
yeah.
we'll see what happens after the All-Star break, because I think the Islanders are done until after the break.
Yeah.
But
Quickly, Islanders for Matt Barzal. He's got 12 goals, 31 assists, 43 points in 51 games. So he's obviously down. His line mates have not played very well. I think one of the better players is Nelson, Brock
mhm.
Nelson, who's had a good year. But yeah, they needed help. And Lou brings in a big name and someone who's obviously doing well in scoring with 30, like I said, 31 goals, which is I think it's already a career high for him or close to a career high.
and Lou's not a big name guy.
No.
The biggest name he brought in for the Devils when he was there was Kovalchuk, and I don't even think that
Yeah.
was his desire to do so.
I don't think it was either.
He's just not a big name type of guy. So it just seems like a very out of character move for Lou, unless he was, overridden by,
Ownership.
by ownership, and ownership said, "Listen,
Yeah.
you got to do something and do it now."
Yeah, we can't
So
have this tumultuous, just kind of lackadaisical, or not lackadaisical, but they're just in that malaise of like not good to
they're
be
just
playoffs and just not terrible.
they're like listing,
Yeah,
not knowing if they want to sink or swim.
yeah,
They're who knows, but well, we'll see how he fits in with the team.
yep. Like I said, they have 52 games played. They have the Penguins, who sit at fifth in the division. They're in the second wild card spot. Have 49 games played, so they have 3 games in hand. The Penguins do, and they are only 2 points ahead. So New York, the Islanders are within striking distance, but it's going to be uphold climb. And right now, I mean, I'm looking at those standings, and you have the Devils and Rangers at that 2 and 3 spot. 6 points separates the two teams. It's going to be that first round series is going to be bonkers. But we have a lot of
Oh,
time
if
to
it's you
talk
and
about
I,
that.
if it's you and
Oh
I,
my
holy
god!
crap, man!
And I
It's gonna
like you,
be.
and I'm going to hate your living guts for a while.
I love you, Billy Dean. I love you, and I'm going to hate you too.
Yep. All right, now to a little bit of a sad point. Bobby Hull, the Golden Jet legend, passed today at 83, I believe he was.
84.
84. I know we didn't see him at all, right? But when you look at the highlights, and he was known for that clapper, he had that really cool curve that he had kind of developed himself, and he would just lay bombs on goaltenders. Yeah, before it became illegal. Yep. But he would just lay bombs on goaltenders, and he was just,
man.
A 12-time All-Star, 2-time Hart winner. In the 60s, it was him and Bobby Orr, because in the 50s, you had Maurice Richard, and then you had the startings of Gordie Howe, and that's where Gordie Howe kind of just went off, and he was a beast. Then in the 60s, you had these 2 young kids come in that were doing things in Bobby Orr and Bobby Hull that were no one had seen these. I mean, Bobby Hull is flying down the ice faster than anybody else and ripping one-timers at goaltenders. And same thing, obviously, Bobby Orr on the other side with the defense, just revolutionized the position. But, he plays his entire career with Chicago, wins the Stanley Cup in 61. He had the 23-year drought there that he kind of, blew apart. He had Stan Mikita, who, those two were awesome together. And his slap shot was reportedly clocked at 118 miles per hour, which would have blown away the record that Zdeno Chara had, which is awesome.
So let's not forget this. So he's being clocked at 100 miles per hour with a slap shot in the time period when goalies wore minimal gear and some were still without masks.
Yes.
Like, holy hell! I'm sorry.
Crazy.
I'm sorry. Like, my cage got dented not too long ago, and you feel it. I could not imagine. I could not imagine, man, playing without a mask. And I will say this: there are times where your mask gets ripped off, and just your instinct is to get up and face where the shot is.
Yep.
But then afterwards, you're like,
no.
that was really stupid.
Yeah.
I could not
So
imagine. I could not imagine being one of those goalies in the '60s
no,
facing a Bobby Hull
bonkers.
slap shot just for the first time, going, all right, yeah, whatever, expecting this, and all of a sudden getting tagged up high and being like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
I need
So
a
there's
I
that.
need a beer.
Yeah, exactly. There's that photo of Bobby Hull winding up where his stick is like 4 feet above his head, and he's ready
Hmm.
to tee off on a clapper. And Jean Beliveau, who obviously Hall of Famer, one of the greats for the Canadians, is standing in the way. And he actually was able to see the photo again. He goes, "What in God's name was I doing?" Well, I remember very clearly what I was doing, getting as thin as I could. Bobby must have either hit the net or shot wide because I don't think he ever hit me. But it's just a classic photo of just him ripping, you know, one of the most feared slap shots of all time. 604 career goals. It was third all time at the time behind Gordie Howe and Phil Esposito. He won the back-to-back Hart Memorial trophies as the league's MVP in '64 through '66, and then he had the scoring title for the third time in his career. He was a true superstar, and his son, obviously Brett Hull, was another guy who could just fire the puck.
Same
But
thing. Just
talk about a
superstar.
father-son combo of just being awesome.
Oh my God. There was a great story I heard today about Bobby Hull. It was on the radio. I guess there's a book about him, and it was in there. So I guess at one point in the game, he he came down, fired a shot on net, and it went in and out, hit the post in the back, in the net, and came out, and the goal judge didn't call it a goal, and he got really pissed.
I can
So,
imagine.
oh man, and what was funny was they were talking on the radio like, oh yeah, back for those who remember, there were goal judges. So I was like, yeah, no, I remember the '90s. There used to be people right behind as the goal judge. I remember those people. But anyway, um, they said that one of the next shifts he was on, he came down and put the puck in the net again, and then immediately went right to the goal judge and started banging on the glass and just like, hey, basically saying like, hey, did that one effing go in? Like, apparently it was a cursing tirade at the goal judge, being like,
I
hey,
can
did you see that
imagine.
one? Did you see that one? It's like, but holy crap, man, what a great player! What a
Yep.
what a loss for the sport. Condolences
Yeah.
to the whole family and to all their
Yeah.
friends and the Blackhawk organization. Man, what a one of the class guys of the game.
Yeah.
Built the game, built the game to what we know. I mean, Slapshot now is you couldn't picture the game without a Slapshot.
Yeah.
Prior to Bobby
Yeah.
Hull, it didn't exist.
Yeah. It
It's
was it was barely
Slapshot.
used. Yeah.
Slapshot's a big part of your game there, Billy Dean. I know that.
Yeah. It is. Yep.
Um,
Three more quick things on Hull because these are pretty cool stats. He was the
let's
first to
hear it.
ever sign a $1 million contract in the history of professional hockey. 10 years,
Nice.
1.75 million.
10 years, 1.75, which was a yeah, but
Yeah, a lot of
they
money
were
then,
also
but you look
talking
at it
on
now, you're like, what did you do?
they were talking on the radio about how Hull helped helped players double their salary from 30 to 60,000.
Yeah. Yep.
Like at the time,
Uh,
that was huge, huge.
he was a Hall of Famer in 1983. His son
Mhm.
Brett's also Hall of Famer in '09. They are the only father and son to each win the Hart, and the only father and son named among the greatest 100 players of all time. So
That's so cool.
the Hull's
And he
awesome. Yeah.
and he played in the famed, infamous, whatever you want to call it, WHA,
Yeah.
which
WHA.
that
Yeah.
league has a bunch of that league has a bunch of stories in its own. But
Oh
holy
yeah.
crap! And
Yep.
that man, what a career! What a damn
Yeah.
career! Was
So
didn't he come back and play with the Rangers a little bit?
no.
Or
So
did I hear
he
that
he
wrong
came.
today? Or he was going
So he
to?
technically retired, but he stayed in the WHA. Then he retired, but then he came back when the WHA merged with the NHL. He actually played.
Mhm.
I didn't realize this. He played a couple games with the Winnipeg Jets, and then he played a couple games
Okay,
with Hartford.
Hartford,
Actually, he was a
Hartford.
whale.
Everyone,
Yep.
I feel like everyone that was anyone that was a league star played with Hartford at one point.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, Gordy and his two sons played there, which is crazy
Yeah,
to think about too.
seriously.
Um. All right. So obviously Bobby Hull, cheers to him. Fantastic.
Hmm.
we talked about older players and stuff. So I had this for you, and celebrated the birthday a couple weeks ago, and I'm 38, and I know you are not 38. You're a little older.
Nope.
So I
Yep.
was like, man, how many guys in the NHL are actually older than me? Because I'm, if I'm in the
Craig
if I play the
Anderson.
game, well, so
Craig
yeah, so
Anderson.
there's 5 guys. There's only 5 guys that are older than me in the NHL, and that's very depressing to think about. Craig Anderson, and this one actually, Mike Smith is technically not retired. He was number 2.
Lightning
Number
legend.
3 is Lightning legend. Number 3 is Mark Giordano. He's 39. Number 4 is Joe
Okay.
Pavelski. He's 38. And number 5 is Zach Parise. He's 38. And I'm older than everybody else in the NHL. That is extremely depressing to think about.
Hey, it's not depressing. Well, at least you know what? I'm older than you, so I'm older than a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say this. Knock on wood. I'm still playing some of the best damn hockey I've ever played in my life right now.
Better than Craig Anderson?
Well, he's in the NHL, but I did have a save that saved my shutout on the 11th save of the game last Thursday.
I like it.
Ask Tommy P. He saw it. Tommy P. witnessed it.
All right. Now, you're not, unfortunately, your NHL days have not reached an e-bug status,
Not yet.
unlike the Islanders.
What a great story.
Oilers. So what was it? Yes,
Oilers.
What was that this weekend? Was that this past weekend?
That was this past weekend. This was Saturday night, I believe it was. It was Saturday night.
That's what it was. Emergency backup Matt Berlin dresses for the Oilers after starter Stuart Skinner was sick. He actually got to play in about 3 minutes.
Got the full backup.
Yeah. Yep. He got to play in 3 minutes of the game at the end of a 7-3 victory, and he actually made a save against Caleb Jones on a clapper, which is awesome. So I'm sure.
Did you hear the whole story behind that all or not?
No,
I wish
it
was me. All right, so here's the whole story. So apparently, the catalyst to him getting in for the last couple of minutes was actually McDavid.
Okay.
So because he was like the official backup for the game, it wasn't just like a regular e-bug status where he just kind of came on like, partway through the game or whatever. Like they actually gave him a jersey with his last name on it.
Yeah.
So he was,
they got one.
I'm watching that clip now. He got number 33 with Berlin on the back. And apparently it was McDavid that floated the idea like, hey, listen, if we're up, which they were, let's get this kid a little bit of time.
Put him in.
And they ran it by everyone. They even ran it by, what was it, Campbell that was in net?
Yeah, Campbell. Yep.
They even ran it by Campbell. And so he wound up making that one save. He actually played against him, whatever his name was, I can't remember, in juniors, I suppose.
Yeah, Caleb Jones.
And Caleb Jones. Yeah, so he knew, he knew the player, and they also made a point to say that it was no disrespect to the Chicago Blackhawks at all. They just wanted to get this kid some time, but apparently with about 7 to 5 minutes left, the staff basically went to him and said, listen, here's the deal. Get yourself ready because at the 3-minute mark, whatever whistle happens after the 3-minute mark, you're going in. And Berlin kind of looked at him and was like, yeah, okay. And they were like, no, we don't mess around. Just be ready to go in. So he was given his orders like, just be ready with 3 minutes left. Whatever that whistle is, you're going in. And, he had the opportunity to make that one save. So he has a perfect save percentage in the NHL. And to kind of see the video of him making that save, he kind of puts his glove up to his ear, almost like he wants to hear it from the crowd. Yep. The crowd went nuts. And then the team gave him the Player of the Game award. They all gave him, the post game headbutts. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, it was good.
It's my dream that I'm still hoping to realize. Be
just get in the arena.
Get in
just
for 2
contact
minutes.
the Dubs.
Dude, Could you imagine? I would give priority interviews after that game.
Yep.
We have a one-on-one on tap.
Yep, we have a one-on-one.
Yeah. Holy crap! I would be happy as hell just to have that jersey. Just to have the jersey.
It would be awesome.
Proudly. Like,
yeah.
It would be
really
a goalie cut, and I'd be freaking swimming in it without my gear on. But holy hell, that would be the
best.
You'd
wear it every day. Yep.
Oh my god.
All right, so we had other news before even Bo Horvat and Bobby Hull. All-Star game this weekend. Most teams are on the week buys, which is good. Players getting out of the country, out of their home cities, and going around
Mm-hmm.
and taking advantage of relaxation and family time. Barkov was named in for Austin Matthews after injury, so you got another hometown guy playing in Florida. Did you hear some of the All-Star game festivities for at least for the all-important skills competition?
I did not, and
Okay,
I'm
so
expecting Trim to have this on at the wedding.
It better be on in the wedding. So there is a dunk tank. It's essentially
God.
there's going to be 2 sets of 4 teams
I'm done already.
that are going to be.
I'm done
I know.
already.
They're going to be shooting
So
to hit targets,
So
attempting to
stupid.
dunk their opponents in a dunk tank. There's a pitch and puck, which is basically a par 4 golf course where they're going to use their hockey sticks to tee off and hit into the hole. They're no longer doing the alligator thing because PETA, and for rightfully so, a lot of people are like, this is stupid. They had an alligator challenge. Yeah. You might like this. There's a 10D tandem. There's going to have the 8 all-star goalies, to each team that's by the division. Each team will have 1 shooting goalie and 1 in-net goalie. The shooting goalie will take a shot from a designated spot, earn 3 points if the shot goes in the hole, 2 points if it hits an in-net target, and no points if the shot misses the net. Based on how the shooting goalie does, the in-net goalie will face 3, 2, or 1 players on a breakaway, and there's a breakaway rule as challenges, depending on how many he hits. So the goalies get to shoot a little bit.
That one I can get behind a little bit.
Obviously, fastest skater, hardest shot, breakaway challenge, accuracy shooting. What is your favorite All-Star skills challenge?
I mean, this is gonna date me big time, but back in the early 2000s, they used to actually have goalie skills that they would attempt to do. Where they would make the goalies go lateral and face the shots from both dots. That was always my favorite, man. Just watching the goalie skills, but watching the pure skills that they used to actually do. I was saying this last night. In the mid to late 90s, the Devils had a super skills competition just amongst the team, and you could just go there, and it was just so cool to see it in person. Just watch the Devils do their own version of super skills. But I kind of miss the old just straight up super skills. Like some of it is kind of fun, like the extra stuff, but just the old super skills of like the late 90s, the 2000s, like when it was just pure skill and not, extra schlock.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a bit of a purist when it comes to stuff like that. It's just not for me.
I like the accuracy challenge. I think it's
yes.
Watch
accuracy is always
Joe
good.
Sakic. Joe Sakic had it. Is he the record holder for 4 in a row? Where he had obviously hitting the targets as 4 straight.
Well, Ray Bork always had it.
He had it. Yeah, he had it too.
Ray Bork was like the master at the accuracy, which was always great.
Really good.
And then but it was always fun to watch the controversy if they just nicked the styrofoam target. Like, did it count? Did it count?
Yeah, they always had that.
But yeah, like stuff like that, like the slap shot challenge. The harder shots always great. There was a little bit where they were doing. I remember, Lightning legend Mike Smith was in this, where they were having the goalies try to score from the end of the, from the opposite end of the ice. I think this is when he was on Arizona, because Mike Smith was one of the better puck playing goaltenders in the league.
Yeah, really good. Yeah,
really good with the puck, and could really fire it down. So it's just those things are the ones that I miss, like the pure skill of the game, because you and I grew up. We still love all the skills in the game. I think you can do a lot with that, but I understand they're trying to get audiences. I mean, it's like,
they want.
Look how big like the home run derby is in the summer.
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, I even watch the home run derby, and I like baseball. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but the home run derby. But again, that's like, what is that? The only skill that's there is just smashing home runs. So it's like, I don't know. It's with all the exciting players in the league right now, they could definitely just do a pure skills competition, and I think everyone would be like, "What the hell?" I
used to like
between
when they,
McDavid and Hughes and stuff like that.
yeah, when you had Pat Kane go through like all the pucks and trying to,
Hmm.
his quick hands. I like that stuff. But anyways, no one really cares about the All-Star game, especially, the actual game itself. It's all garbage.
Thought
Um,
thoughts on the jersey? Thoughts on the jerseys?
yeah, it's not. So
I'm the
I
only
do
one.
see how it's like the late '90s, and that's how
Yeah.
those were some of the better ones. I don't know. I just didn't. It wasn't overly like, ooh, I'm not gonna go get one, but maybe I'll get a T-shirt.
I'm
Who
the
knows?
only one. I feel like I'm the only one that likes it.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
I got one coming for me.
Um,
I got a Hughes jersey. I got a Hughes coming for me. I saw it.
yeah,
I was like, you know what? I love the colorway. It's just what the hell? I don't have a Hughes jersey. Poor decision time. Click. And
poor decision time.
I'm glad I did it. They're sold out. Like you can't get them. So I'm pretty pumped that I got one coming.
Yeah. All right, just a couple quick things. Did you see the Sol Zagreus Troy Stetcher flare up?
I didn't. No, I missed it.
Yeah. So in the game, you had Arizona Coyotes and Anaheim Mighty Ducks. The Ducks. They had the issue with so basically Zagreus and Troy Stetcher were kind of going at it, and Zagreus appeared to say something that lip readers will tell you that he mentioned how Troy's dad who had just passed away in 2020. He mentioned something about his dead dad. Zagreus said he did not. Troy was all over him about it. Stetcher, but Troy Stetcher was irate, and he was going after him even throughout the penalty box. He wanted to beat the living daylights out of this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Stetcher said he did not say what he thought he said, but the guy was pretty pissed off, and it also to take notice that he got a major for it. It ended at 17 minutes left in the game, and Anaheim did not, because they had the flare up last year with Arizona and the Ducks. They had ample time to go after him and beat the heck out of him, but they didn't. So a lot of people online, lip readers that saying this was what kind of happened, and so far it hasn't come out like that. But I've never seen someone more incensed in a hockey game. I thought he was going to kill him.
Yeah, it's it's unfortunate, and I kind of hope that what it comes down to is that just Zegers being a young dumb idiot and
Yeah,
just saying
and like I
something
said,
in the heat of the
he was
moment.
he they said he did not say anything about his dad, but that's everybody out there has been saying that's what he did say. So I want to clarify that. But yeah,
I mean, that's going to be up to him to come out and clarify himself.
yeah,
But we've all, we've all been in that situation where we've all chirped something that we probably shouldn't. Our teammate, the late great Jeff, was
yeah.
told he was going to be murdered one time,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you just say stupid shit.
Yeah.
So I kind of hope that's. I always kind of hope for the best in these type of situations where it's just that Zegers just got wrapped up in whipped up into something and just said something stupid off the cuff, and that's all it was, and that there was no malice behind it. If there is malice behind it, then that's a big problem.
Yep.
But that's something
And
that he's going to
he's not a
have to deal with.
yeah, and he's not a big guy. He's not a tough guy, and there'll be guys
No.
if something bad happened, he'd be getting it pretty good. So,
Mhm.
I wanted to quickly talk about the Bruins, and then we'll just talk about the standings and some stats real fast. But Bruins on pace for 62 wins, which the record's 62 set by the 96 Red Wings and the 2019 Tampa Bay Lightning. By the way, none of those teams won the Stanley Cup that year, so hopefully it follows pace with the Bruins as well.
Mhm.
They're on pace for 133 points, which would break the record set by the Canadiens in 76-77. The record for goalie save percentage is the 68-69 Blues at 934. The Bruins are 929 save percentage. So my question to you is, who is the Bruins?
You're going to have to repeat that because the owner of your illustrious team also owns my internet, and you cut out right when you asked your question.
Oh, who
Stupid
is
James Dolan.
yeah? Who is the biggest threat to the Boston Bruins?
Oh my gosh. Well, the state of Florida right now, because both Tampa and Florida kind of put them on a short little slide there. Overall, Sam says the Devils, which I would love to say yes, but the Devils didn't do very well against them at all this year. I don't know. It's an absolute direct threat. I feel like it would be someone you wouldn't expect. It would be kind of like I could see the Bruins being one of those teams right now. Maybe they'll get to this, to the 60-62 win, but then they get into the first round, and whoever that first round opponent is, that they'll just kind of look beyond to get to the second round. All of a sudden, it's like, the Bruins are down 3-1, and they wind up losing the series, that
would be great.
4-2.
Like Tampa did when they got swept by Columbus. Sherwin loves that one.
I mean, yeah, he does. I mean, it's all together possible that could happen. So the Bruins lost to Tampa. They lost to Florida. Who else did they lose to? Because aren't they on a 3-game slide right
now? Toronto, right?
Yeah, Toronto. I think it was
Toronto. Yeah.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine that Toronto's the team that knocks them out of the first round, and it's the first time Toronto gets past the first round forever?
Great.
That would be Toronto's Stanley Cup. That would be Toronto's Stanley Cup. There's no way that they would lose in the second round without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I'm gonna have to say that it would have to be a team that you just wouldn't expect. So, what's your thought?
Oh, sorry. It was Lightning, Panthers, Hurricanes.
Hurricanes. Okay. Yeah. Still a Southeast team. So,
but I know they have actually not done well in Canada. They lost to the Senators. They lost to, when they lost to the Coyotes, that was very funny too. They lost to the Senators. They lost to Senators. What else? Toronto. They've lost to Ottawa. Yeah, I'm on ESPN. Of course, they're dog shit. Yeah. So from my perspective, the team that gives them the most trouble if they wanted to, to make it in the playoffs, I actually think would be Toronto. And Tampa would be a really easy answer. But I think Toronto. I think they have the scoring to match up with them, and they're playing a lot better than I thought they would. Their goalies are playing better. Their defense is playing better. Everybody's kind of playing their game. Carolina Hurricanes would be a good answer, and yeah, I'm gonna say the Devils if they can add a piece. If they can get a legit Timo Meier piece, I think they're on par to challenge them. I don't think the Rangers can, and I watched them play, and they got drubbed 4-0.
Yeah, well,
and the Rangers would have to do something big to really match up with them.
I mean, I appreciate your thoughts on the Devils there, but they would definitely have to add a piece because the Devils did not do well against the Bruins this year.
And I think that piece is, and I know everyone's saying Timo Meier and you want the Finnish connection. I think it's
no, he's Swiss.
He's Swiss. That's right, Swiss. I meant Swiss. I meant with Hischier and who's the other Swiss guy you have? Siegenthaler.
Siegenthaler. Right, yeah, I think that would definitely be great.
Chychrun's the better piece for you guys. I really do.
Listen, there's a reason why I'm not paid a ton of money to make these decisions.
Yeah,
because I would not do well making these decisions. But I have full faith and trust in what Fitzgerald is going to do to improve this team, and that he'll make the correct decision because his track record has been pretty damn good. The only slight, and I believe this is up to Scott Clemenson, but the only thing the Devils have not done well until this past summer was figuring out goaltending.
Yeah.
Everything else, you look at the rest of that roster, everything else they've figured out. Goaltending was not that piece, but now they've figured that out with Vitek, and I'm bummed Vitek is not on the All-Star team. I probably would have got a Vitek All-Star jersey instead of a Jack All-Star jersey, but
you think he was better than the other two goalies that were named?
Only because I'm a homer, absolutely. And the reason my reasoning is the Devils are nothing without Vitek this year.
I think you're giving the rest of your team not enough credit, but I could understand why you would say that, yeah. Oh, there's Sam.
The same team last year. There we go. It's pretty much the same team as last year, and we went through 7 goalies. None of them were named Shorts guy, which was the biggest crime of the season last year. And
well, it's not the same team as last year because you guys obviously now have a healthy Jack Hughes. You have players playing at a better level. He shares another one
We had
playing,
no
extremely
goaltending.
above.
We had no
Yeah,
goaltending.
but
We went through
Dougie
7
Hamilton's had a
goalies.
better season.
We had no goaltending last year. If you look at what VTech does every single game, VTech makes at least 1 or 2 saves that are the turning point or keep that game as far as the Devils' victory is concerned. So VTech has been key to a lot of this. I think he's the reason why. He's a huge reason why the Devils are where they are. And again, the biggest crime of last season, Shorts guy was not called in as the 8th goalie or one of the 7, which he should have been. Sorry.
Sam?
Just make
What do
it
you got
all
for us?
about you. Just make it all about you.
It's all about Shorts guy. It's all about me.
Always about Shorts guy. All right, so Sam, I mean, we were talking about just quickly the All-Star game as well as we chatted a little about the Devils and maybe being the competition for the Bruins. Why do you think that they're the team to match up well?
Can you repeat that again? Because I'm hearing an echo.
Why do you think that the Bruins and the Devils would be a good matchup and the Devils could give the Bruins a run for their money?
Because I think the Bruins have peaked and the Devils haven't.
Okay.
Down the stretch, I think it's the young legs versus the experience. And I think that the Devils will have a little bit of oomph in the end, and then Eric Holla will just actually torment them in the playoffs.
Eric Holla.
Pavel Zacha would do. Yeah, and Pavel Zacha will be just sitting there doing nothing like usual.
He'll Pavel Zacha himself out of the playoffs.
All right. Okay. Not bad answers. I'll take it. NHL stat leaders, Connor McDavid is,
Unreal.
Is there any other word for this kid than just, unreal, disgusting? It's 92 points at the break, and he's 16 above his teammate Leon Draisaitl.
What's he on pace to break? Like what is he on pace to break?
Well, yeah, let's see. He's at 92 through 50 games, so he's got 32 left. Yeah. He's roughly on pace for 150 something points.
But he still hasn't done. You know what he still hasn't done though, which hasn't been done in a while. No, well, aside from the Stanley Cup, 50 and 50.
Yeah,
there hasn't been a 50-50 in a while. He is not yet. He's got 41. He's not done a 50 and 50. There has not been. Who was the last? Was Timo Solani in the last 50 and 50s?
It might have been Timu. Yeah.
Yager?
So NHL. Let me look that up. Last NHL 50.
Was it Yager back in 05, 06, Bill?
50 goals in 50 games. I already got it. So Maurice Richard, Mike Bossy, Wayne Gretzky did it.
Oh, you're talking about that 50. God. I thought you were talking about 50 goals and 50 assists.
No. 50 and 50.
50 goals in 50 games. 50 and 50.
Mario Lemieux had 50 and 50. Brett Hull had it twice. I think it's Brett Hull, 91, 92. It did. I don't think, because they're not saying near misses. Bobby Hull, Charlie Simmer, Bernie Nichols, Mario Lemieux.
Nichols.
I don't see.
Yeah, Brett
Timo Solani scored 51 goals over 27 games. Scored 51 goals over games 27 to 76.
So he didn't get 50 and 50.
So he
didn't start in game 1.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah.
So I guess according to that, he does.
So to start, all right, never mind. So hold on. So 50 and 50 is to start the season and go. Mm-hmm. 50 goals in any mid-season 50 games. You had Phil Esposito that did. Phil Esposito did 50 in any sort of 50 games. Charlie Simmer, Yari Curry, Mario Lemieux did it again. Bernie Nichols, Brett Hull did it. Timo Solani did it, and then Austin Matthews scored 51 goals over games 18 to 67. Did we miss that? He did it in 49 games?
But 18 to 67, so it wasn't from game 1.
But it's in 50 games he scored 51 goals.
I thought it was starting from game 1.
I guess that's the technical term, but to do it in any
50
amount of games.
In any 50, yeah. Still, that's a mark. So that's a mark he has not yet hit, which a mark that we've obviously not seen in a while. So
yeah.
But he's just unreal with what he can do, and
Yeah.
I know that there was some, we had spoken on this podcast questioning a little bit about him and his integrity at the beginning of the season, but I mean,
Yep, that's something else.
if
Yeah.
but if I have to give him credit for this, if he really is the catalyst to getting that kid Berlin into the game,
Yeah.
I think that's
good.
kind of
Good play by him.
That's a real good play by him.
Yeah.
Other things aside, bigger issues aside, but
yeah,
I still think that's a pretty class move in his end.
I mean, we got other things we'll
Connor
save for next time. Yeah, Connor
McDavid. Yeah.
You know what I think of McDavid? He's boring. He's a square.
Yeah. Maybe he's a personality, but watching him on the ice is not square. That is.
Oh no! I'm not even questioning that. But it begs the question about Jack Hughes. Could he be the face of the league because he's more marketable versus McDavid being stuck in Edmonton and being such a, I don't know, like you watch that Gretzky commercial. I didn't find it funny.
Yeah.
A little bit. The only thing is we have to make sure that if Jack is going to be the face of the league, I think that there are a couple things that, I think they just have to make sure that Jack rose up before they make him the face of the league. He's still a young kid. He's still going to make dumb decisions. I mean, we all made really dumb decisions in our 20s.
Yeah.
So they got to make sure that Jack kind of gets out of that.
Like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Before he was drafted.
I mean, not to say that it's not to say that it's right, but man, he's making dumb decisions as a teenager. We all made dumb decisions as teenagers. We just didn't have spotlights on us. Thank God. Otherwise, none of us would have a job.
Yeah, I like Jack. I think he's a very good player. I've said that. I don't think he's face of the league material. I think, and this is crazy, that next year when Connor Bedard gets in the league, this kid is good enough to immediately be the face of the league. He is that good. And I could see the NHL doing that really quickly. Braylio asked, does Dylan Larkin become a free agent? It sounds like they're very far away from a contract, and Yzerman sticks his toes into the sand, and he doesn't budge from things. And I could see that happening where he's not going to be there long term. There's actually rumors that maybe Bo Horvat had gotten traded to Detroit, but obviously that didn't come to fruition. No. So yeah, Larkin could be a free agent. You guys got anything else before we head out? Sam, Shorts?
No, just great times in Arizona.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping to organize that, Bill. That was
Sam, that was awesome.
Time. Sammy, you got to come out to Arizona, especially if the Devils play out there on a weekend. Holy hell, we got to bring the whole podcast out. Or we just have to go to a random game and bring all the podcasts to Arizona and be like, hey, we're at the Mullet again.
Well, so we could act like a-holes?
I mean, it was pretty fun to act like an a-hole there.
There is – so, Sam, there is a picture. There is a picture of me and little Steve and Schwim and Tommy having a good time, and Billy Dean and the rest of the dads just kind of looking at us like going,
really?
Morons. Oh, yeah.
Well,
you're lucky you didn't bring me on that trip.
Yeah. It was good times we had.
And then of course, as we're leaving, we go to breakfast the day that we're leaving, and it was the dad's table and the kids' table. Obviously, Dean was at the dad's table, and I was at the dad's table.
That was not by choice, though.
With Schwim, little Steve, and Tommy, and me were at the kids' table. Yeah, we were an embarrassment to the dads.
You guys had a lot of fun, and us dads just had to make sure we didn't get arrested for anything ridiculous.
Hey, it took me well into the third period before I got yelled at.
Yeah, that's true.
Who'd you get yelled at by?
And it was
they
didn't like
banging
that
on that stanchion.
Well, it wasn't that. It was we were at the because we were at the standing room, and basically it was like a little leaning ledge. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to sit up on the leaning ledge because that's kind of what I'm used to. Is just sitting on things at sporting events like this that are high above things. And I sat up on it for a little bit. It was uncomfortable as hell, but then eventually one of the ushers was like, yeah, you got to get down. It's like, all right, cool. I'll get down. I was waiting for that, but hey, I only got yelled at once, and it was in the third period, so I'll take that as a win.
You did well.
Yep.
All right, my beer, Sam. You can hit it. Sam, did you bring anything to drink? By the way,
I've got a Snapple, not all natural lemon tea.
Not bad.
I'll be drinking this on February 25th at American Whiskey. Are you coming, Bill?
Billy Dean, you should come out for that, Billy Dean.
Try to be there. Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna try to be there.
You gotta come out for that.
Yeah.
You got to be the voice of reason.
I'll be the voice of reason.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll tell you, Devils fans, what's real.
Yeah, seriously. We have to end this trend of Shorts Guy being the adult in situations because it's just not. It doesn't feel. Shorts Guy should never be the adult, but Shorts Guy has become the adult in many situations in the last little bit of time. So should not be.
All right, my beer, 425, mango mochi, courtesy of Steven.
I'm gonna say a 425. It's a very easy drinking stout, and I do like it. Yellow flashing lights.
Steve Schwim, congratulations, buddy. We're looking forward to Friday. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
Cynthia, I feel so terribly bad for you. That was a big mistake. But
you could have said no, Cynthia.
To all you guys, could have said no.
Just trying to help. Just trying to help.
Just trying to help.
It's all about the Sony Vegas.
Yep. Love you, Schwim.
Yeah.
I hear him coming closer.